Hey there guys, my name is Klay and today I will read chapter 10 and 11 of What If Naruto Took Training Seriously. Please do remember that the info about the author of the story is always in my video description. Anyways, I will now begin. Sarutobi smiled. Jiraiya really outdid himself this time. It was impressive, the way Naruto resembled Minato. The sight alone made the villagers question how they looked at him, a step in the right direction. He felt the cage beside him stiffen ever so slightly at the sight of the boy and the Sannin. He knew this man was not the cage. The old Hokage knew more than Orochimaru thought. But had hope even though he knew it was futile, that seeing Jiraiya here would make the traitor hold his attack off a while longer. Dosu of Otogakure has not arrived and cannot be located. He will be disqualified, and Hinazuki Rika will fight Haruno Sakura in his place to keep the flow going. The proctor informed the crowd before continuing. First match, Hyuga Neji against Uzumaki Naruto. Jiraiya turned to his blonde pupil. Hey, good luck kid, kick ass. Smiling, he flicked off to the cage box. Thanks Jiraiya-sensei. At the cage box, Hiruzen addressed Jiraiya's arrival. So my student, how did his training go? He's faster than ever now, Sarutobi-sensei. He's truly a terrifying force. There's no way. It's not possible he taught the boy that technique. No, of course not. It's completely unlikely. Jiraiya himself doesn't even know how to perform it. I myself couldn't even figure it out. Orochimaru thought to himself. Naruto stood across from Neji staring the Hyuga down. Between my eyes and your fate. You will lose here to me. Can it Hyuga? I promised you a beating, not a heartfelt conversation. Maybe after I'm done kicking your ass, but not before. Neji looked as if he was about to speak, but Genma interrupted anything the boy might say. Begin. The Hyuga prodigy quickly activated his Byakugan, only for his eyes to widen as he saw Naruto behind him. How? He thought. He quickly spun to intercept the strike the blonde had prepared, only to be met with the sight of the boy, behind him again. Appearing in a handstand that allowed him to bring both his feet to bear in a vicious kick to the Hyuga's side. Said kick launched the older boy across the stadium, and into the wall with a resounding impact. Neji stood quickly. What the hell just happened? Your all-seeing eyes can show you everything I do. But it won't matter if you aren't fast enough to react to it. Naruto said from across the stadium field. Neji stood silent, not knowing what exactly to say in reply. Naruto suddenly threw a large group of kunai at the long-haired boy, who quickly deflected them with his own. The blonde smiled, and Neji's eyes widened as a kunai was suddenly where Naruto had just been, and he felt a fist smash into the back of his skull. Naruto had substituted with one of the kunai and immediately transferred into a body flicker to put him directly behind the older boy. Neji hit the dirt with an angry snarl. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. This blonde bastard was faster than Lee. How could he counter something he couldn't even react to? Neji stood, and immediately launched into an attack at Naruto. Just as his first palm strike was about to hit the speedster, he hit a kunai instead. He realized he had ran right past one of the previously deflected kunai as Naruto appeared beside him, kicking his legs out from under him and planting his fist in the Hyuga's face before he even hit the ground. Neji knew he needed a counter. And he needed it now. He jumped to his feet, throwing a smoke bomb on the ground. He knew at the very least he could see better in the smoke than the Uzumaki could. Oi, Hyuga, you should know my team and I fought Momochi Zabuza, the demon of Kirigakure, one of the 7 swordsmen of Kirigakure. He was a master of the hidden mist jutsu, and the art of silent killing. Because of that man, I can fight just fine without my eyes. Naruto said to the older boy. It doesn't matter. You may be skilled but you will lose here. Neji channeled chakra throughout his body and pushed himself to his limits. He had to keep up with the blonde. The blonde flickered next to him preparing to strike, but the Hyuga was able to pull of his 8 trigrams, revolving heaven technique. Rotation. A dome of chakra spawned around the Hyuga, knocking Naruto back fairly hard. Hey, nice trick. Naruto said mockingly, I'm actually unsure of how to handle that. If he's able to pull it off before I move, he might have a chance. It doesn't matter. I'll find a way, he thought to himself. As soon as the Hyuga dropped his dome, Naruto's body flickered to him, only to be once again met with a dome of chakra. How did he know I was gonna move? Ah. Shit, he's probably taking note of when chakra is focused in my body for a technique. How am I gonna handle this? Naruto was officially stumped. He had no idea how to get around this defense of the Hyugas. Neji smirked. The blonde was definitely stumped. It's time for you to lose. Neji charged at Naruto, managing to get close enough to start throwing palm strikes at the younger boy. Naruto, however, was fast enough to dodge most of them. A few of his tenketsu had been closed, but he would deal. The older boy came at him for a solid strike that was sure to hit, and Naruto made the active decision to substitute with a kunai. The Jinchuriki was unsure of what to do with himself now. Neji now has a solid strategy, and Naruto had to get around it. He smirked. He had an idea that might work. He sped through hand seals and 20 water clones appeared around him. You can make clones all you want, but I can tell the difference between them and you. The Hyuga taunted. That's not what they're for. Naruto's clones ran in at the older boy. Half kept their distance, but the other half moved to engage. He quickly spawned another 20 that lined up behind his others. At the very least, if it came down to it, Naruto could win this fight through pure stamina. But that wasn't how he wanted to win. While the clones engaged with the Hyuga and were subsequently dispatched, Naruto laid out his plan. He placed explosive tags all over the arena in different locations to act as traps. He then began to gather chakra, and he knew this shit was going to hurt a lot. He would probably win with it though. His clones were almost all gone by now, so he had to act fast. Instead of waiting for Neji to take out his last 5 clones, he body flickered right next to the older boy, managing to get a solid spin kick into his stomach before substituting with one of his clones so that it could take Neji's counter-strike. Naruto flickered into one of his many explosive placements and focused his chakra. He had dispersed a ton in the air around Neji when he hit him, and as soon as the prodigy dispatched his last clone, Naruto made his move. He enclosed all of his chakra around the boy, and forcefully substituted with him, leaving the Hyuga confused, and in a 10 by 10 square of explosive tags, that Naruto then detonated. Explode. The ground shook and the Byakugan-wielding boy was launched head over heels into the air. However, Neji wasn't done yet and landed on his feet. He was battered and bruised, but not down. How? He practically growled. How did you move me? I have a lot of chakra. I forced it around you and substituted with your body, but it only worked because you were standing still. Naruto explained. I'm sure I won't get that chance again, he said, throwing another volley of kunai at the Hyuga prodigy. Neji quickly got out of the way and moved as far away from them as possible. Sorry Neji, but it's time I end this. Wind style, great breakthrough. Wind tore apart the ground as it barreled toward the taijutsu specialist. Rotation. A dome of chakra lit up around Neji, negating Naruto's jutsu. But just as Neji released his rotation and he came to a stop, he was facing kunai from 10 different angles. In the time it took the prodigy to defend against Naruto's jutsu, the blonde had made 9 water clones, giving all of them real kunai to throw, as he didn't want the kunai to disappear if his clones did. They all body flickered around Neji and had thrown their kunai. All the knives would intersect at the point that was Neji's body. The Hyuga was too off balance to return to his rotating motion, so he was forced to deflect and dodge the kunai. He deflected 6 of them and jumped over the other 4, however Neji was in for pain, and he knew it. As he was about to land, the 4 kunai all flew away from him. Naruto appeared in place of one with a new kunai in hand, which he caught Neji lightly across the chest with. The Hyuga was pushed back slightly, and Naruto appeared behind him, placing a spin kick into his back. Neji stared as the kunai he saw before him turned into Naruto once again, who planted his sandal in the Hyuga's teeth. Launched back once more, he wasn't surprised when the blonde appeared behind him in a handstand, angling his body as both of his feet collided with the older boy's spine, sending him flying across the field and smashing loudly into the wall. Neji didn't stand again. Dankoseka, finished the blonde. He was barely conscious as his back slid down the wall and he landed on the ground. Naruto flickered into existence in front of him. The blonde leaned down to look him in the eye. Honestly Neji, you did amazing. I can't substitute with a kunai again for the next 2 days. If that last technique hadn't worked, I might have lost. But you fight for all the wrong reasons. You need to re-evaluate why you became a ninja. I know of your burden, I too bear one similar. Mine to many would be considered much worse than yours, however. But I don't give in to this seal placed upon me. I won't ever let it control me, nor who I am. You have so many people who want to be close to you. Don't throw that away. With that, Naruto held a kunai to Neji's throat. "Proctor, please call the match." "Winner, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto turned to face the crowd, cloak billowing in a way reminiscent of that of their very own fourth Hokage. He fought so much like him and he didn't even entirely realize it. He knew he took inspiration, but that was it. Brat doesn't even know he's almost fully recreated some of Minato's techniques. He really is impressive. Jiraiya thought to himself. The crowd cheered loudly for the blonde, something that slightly shocked the boy. He smiled at them, gave a wave and returned to the contestant stand. Meanwhile, the medics came out and carried Neji away. As Naruto strolled into the contestant booth, he was met with Sasuke and Sakura. "Wow, Naruto, you were amazing," the pinkette said to the Jinchuriki. "Hey, thanks Sakura." "Naruto," Sasuke called out. "Supski? You're the one I want to fight the most. Out of all the challenges here, our battle will be the greatest." The last Uchiha said with a smirk. "Better not lose your fight then." Naruto said back with a cocky smile. "PFFT as if. But seriously Sasuke," Naruto said, eyes growing serious. "Be careful. You saw what he did to Lee and I'm honestly surprised they didn't rig it for me to fight him, considering we are both Jinchuriki. But just don't die, got it bastard?" Naruto finished. Sasuke grunted in return. "Will Haruno Sakura and Hinazuki Rika please come down?" The two women stared each other down. Sakura remembered the girl faintly, but other than the preliminaries she was pulling blanks. She had watched the girl overpower her opponent in the preliminary match, so she knew she was strong. "Let's have a good match?" the pinkette offered. "Sure," the girl replied with indifference. The pinkette studied the girl, taking in what she looked like. She had blue shoulder-length hair and red eyes. She wore a dark gray sleeveless jacket with a hood, but it was down, along with a mesh armor shirt underneath along with black shorts. She had bandages wrapped down the length of her legs, and on her right side she wore her bag for equipment and was outfitted with typical sandals of the shinobi. One thing was out of place however, and that was the long burnt orange scarf she wore around her neck. She had red marks almost like that of an Inuzuka. But they came up from the sides of her face ending below her eyes and were upside down. Like rins but pointed. Sakura had watched the Rika fight in the preliminary match. The girl had thrown around a lot of fire jutsu, leading the pinkette to suspect that she had fairly high chakra reserves. She would need to be careful, especially if she used the strength technique she and Kakashi had come up with, which she had dubbed the Haruno Fist. It consumed way too much chakra, and it was highly possible her opponent could win this match through pure stamina. "Begin!" shouted out Genma. Sakura immediately launched forward, activating her strength technique. She intended to attempt to end this quickly. The other Konoha genin however was fast in her own right. Jumping away and flashing through hand seals as Sakura's heel drop proceeded to decimate the ground she had just stood on. Fire style. Foxfire. 10 balls of fire appeared around Rika, and with her hands she began launching them at the pinkette. Sakura responded in kind with a jutsu of her own. Earth style. Terra shield. A wall of earth rose in front of her, blocking the fire that aimed to char her skin. Rika once again began a sequence of hand seals. Fire style. Flame bombs. She spat 2 large balls of fire that expanded upon impact next to Sakura's shield. The pinkette then came out of the ground behind the stoic girl, slamming her foot into the ground inches behind her as she barely managed to dodge. The ground imploded where she had stood, but she managed to bring her body around and launch into another attack. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A burst of flame sparked from her mouth, engulfing Sakura, who immediately substituted with a log but had still received minor burns. Sakura was slightly ticked off. The other girl was faster than her, and she just couldn't seem to get the drop on her. She decided to subtlety cast Genjutsu, optic delusory, on her opponent. This made her enemy perceive her as moving slower than she was, allowing Sakura's next attack to land a solid kick into Rika's abdomen, launching the blue net across the field. Sakura smirked. Things were looking up. Rika hurt. A lot. Her whole body ached from that one landed hit. She couldn't get hit by that again. She had a bit of skill in medical ninjutsu, so she ran her palm over her lower body and healed as much as she could as quickly as possible. Sakura saw the girl begin healing herself. Crap, I didn't expect that. And note to self, learn medical ninjutsu. Sakura grunted. A war of attrition it would be then. This time it was Rika who charged in, engaging the pink-haired girl in a fast-paced bout of taijutsu that didn't leave her room to really get off a good high-powered hit. Rika took advantage of this, slamming her foot into Sakura's chest and launching herself backwards away from the girl. As she flew, she tossed a round of kunai, which had timed explosive tags attached. The resounding explosion shook the stadium lightly. But Sakura was alright. Beat up and starting to reach her limit, but she was alright. Fire style. Red spider. Fire surrounded the female member of Team 7, and a spider made of pure fire charged at her, intent on turning her crisp. Sakura, however, had something up her sleeve. She punched the ground in front of her as hard as she could, launching enough earth and debris up into the path of the spider to completely disperse the jutsu. Sakura was tired though. Her reserves were almost depleted. The strength technique she and Kakashi had made was extremely wasteful when it came to chakra. Shit, I might lose this. Fire style. Dragon flame jutsu. A large concentrated stream of fire tore across the arena at the pinkette. She barely had time to dodge. When she hit the ground, Sakura made strategic decision. Proctor, I forfeit. My chakra is all but depleted, she said sadly. Winner of this match is Hinazuki Rika. The crowd cheered as Rika walked over to the downed member of Team 7. She offered a hand to help Sakura up. I respect your skill. If I hadn't known medical jutsu, that kick you landed would have been the end of it. Maybe we can spar sometime. Thank you, you're of extraordinary talent. I'm really impressed, I'd love to spar sometime, Sakura said, standing with the help of her opponent. The crowd cheered some more, and medics came and helped Sakura away from the arena. Will Nara Shikamaru and Tamari of Suna please come down? Genma called out, wishing to continue matches in an orderly fashion. The two opponents came down, and prepared themselves. Although, Naruto practically had to kick Shikamaru out of the contestant booth. Begin, called Genma, and both contestants leapt away from each other. If you asked Naruto, he was extremely impressed by the amount of tactical thinking and strategic analysis that went on in this fight. It was rare to have the chance to watch two master tacticians battle it out. These kinds of battles were absolutely awesome to watch in Naruto's opinion. It also helped him improve and take tips from both fighters to help shape his own battle planning abilities. In the end, Naruto wasn't exactly surprised when Shikamaru decided to forfeit. The Nara was out of chakra and obviously physically tired. It was a sound strategic move on his part. Aburame Shino versus Kankuro of Suna. Will the contestants please come down? Before Shino could even move, Kankuro called out. Actually, Proctor, I'd like to forfeit. Fine, winner is Aburame Shino by forfeit. And next time you decide you're gonna waste people's time, do it in a way that doesn't embarrass your village, said Genma, making Kankuro recoil slightly. In the cage box, Jiraiya whistled next to the Hokage. Oh damn, he really just roasted that kid, didn't he, Sarutobi-sensei? Yes, I suppose he did, Jiraiya. Hiruzen chuckled. Genma looked around the stadium. People were excited for this one. Oh well, it was time. Will Uchiha Sasuke and Gaara of Suna please come down? Both genin were on the battlefield in an instant. Sasuke smirked. He was going to wipe out this sand genin with his new jutsu and blaze a trail till his fight with Naruto. Begin. Sasuke immediately blitzed Gaara, proceeding to outclass the Suna nin in speed and taijutsu. Gaara was getting beaten, he knew it. And it was pissing mother off. So he would kill this swine and give his blood to her. Gaara launched back, enclosing himself in a ball of sand. Suddenly sand floated into the air above him, gathering to form an eye. What the hell kind of technique is this? No matter if he wants to use this defense, I'll pierce it with Chidori, Sasuke thought. He ran up the side of the stadium wall to give himself a lot of distance. Monkey, dragon, rat, bird, ox, snake, dog, tiger, monkey. He held out his arm and it was engulfed in lightning chakra. Chidori, he called out while blasting down the wall and across the ground at Gaara's dome. Dodging the spikes of sand that burst from the dome upon his arrival, he slammed his hand through the dome and hit Gaara's shoulder. A cry rang across the stadium, my blood. It's my blood. You'll die here, Uchiha. A massive arm ripped through the sand dome, tossing away the Uchiha prodigy. Kaka-sensei. You gotta stop this fight right now, shouted Naruto. I can't do that, Naruto. Trust me, Sasuke has this under no sensei. Gaara's a Jinchuriki, like me, but the one tail. If this thing gets out of control, I see, responded the Junin of Team 7, but before anyone could act, feathers began to fall into the stadium, caused by a mass genjutsu. Shit. Naruto, the village is under attack. I hate to say this to you because you know how I feel about it as well, but you're Konoha's Jinchuriki. I need you to go assist Sasuke and prevent Gaara from releasing the One-Tails. I'll try to get back up to you. Now go. Yes, sensei. Naruto flickered down next to Sasuke, who was watching Gaara closely. Ski. We gotta chase this bastard out of the village. Now. Got it. Combo 5. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A massive torrent of fire barreled toward the enemy Jinchuriki. He immediately took off, smashing a massive hole through the stadium wall and running into the forest. Let's go, Sasuke. Right. The two boys took off after the Suna Nin in hot pursuit. It would lead to a battle that would be well known throughout Konohagakure. Chapter 11. Start. All hell had broken loose the minute Gaara ripped through the stadium wall. An explosion had gone off in the cage box, and the stadium had filled with Otto and Suna Nin. The shinobi of Konoha had immediately sprang into action, fighting against the Nin, and releasing those caught in the genjutsu so they could evacuate. Jiraiya and Hiruzen stared down the cage. Drop the act. We already know it's you, Orochimaru. The white-haired Sannin said. Jiraiya, Sarutobi-sensei. It's so good to see you both. I'm going to fix the mistake I made years ago, and stop you from touching Konoha ever again, Orochimaru. Said the Hokage, the last word spoken with extreme distaste. A massive purple barrier appeared around the rooftop. Seems my nin have made themselves useful and things went according to plan. The traitorous Sannin flashed through hand seals, and called out his jutsu. Summoning. Impure world reincarnation, what? No way. 3 coffins burst from the ground, the third however shook before it returned to the ground. At least the death god is on our side in this matter, it seems, eh? Sarutobi-sensei? Indeed it does, Jiraiya. He would never so willingly just let go of young Minato's soul. Replied the elder shinobi. Saru? Questioned Hashirama, looking upon the third Hokage. It seems my jutsu was used to bring us back from the dead brother. Said Tobirama, quickly recognizing the situation. Only you could make such jutsu that are stupidly reckless, Tobirama. Fight for me, Hokages. Orochimaru called out as he jumped forward and slammed a kunai with a control talisman into the necks of both Hokage. Ah Saru, it seems we no longer have control of our bodies. Said the second Hokage. He flew forward, immediately being countered by Sarutobi. The current Hokage threw the second at Jiraiya, who proceeded to put a Rasengan through his chest. Hashirama immediately engaged Sarutobi in a bout of taijutsu, and the monkey summoner took the upper hand at the last moment. Thus began a massive battle that the Anbu who had collected outside the barrier had never seen the likes of before. Sakura and Rika stood back to back, fending off Otto and Suna Nin. They were being pushed to the limit, and if nothing changed they would die. That was until a flash of blue light and the sound of chirping birds ripped through the air, and Kakashi tore through the Nin surrounding the girls. Kakashi-sensei, called the Pinkette. Another Leaf Junin landed next to Kakashi. Thanks for saving my student as well, Hataki. You know I protect my comrades, Yuta. Kakashi eyes smiled at the black-haired Junin. Alright, let's wipe the floor with these shits. The newly arrived Junin shouted. Naruto. Got it. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. The boys were firing off jutsu in an effort to push the enemy Jinchuriki away from the village. I'm going to kill you, Uchiha. I'll feed you to mother. Gaara continued to run, but Naruto and Sasuke were forced to stop. The figures of Temari and Kankuro appeared in between them and their target. Temari, continue on with Gaara. I'll handle this. But, shut up and go, Temari. Naruto and Sasuke had a stare down with the puppet user. They knew they couldn't just run by him. But their problems were solved by a separate Konoha shinobi. Bugs swarmed around the 3 ninja as the Aburame made his entrance. You two go, I never got my match, so I'll have it now instead. Said the stoic bug user. Right, the 2 boys sounded off. I won't let you past me. Yelled Kankuro, who moved to intercept, but was halted by a wall of bugs courtesy of Shino. Temari watched as Gaara began his transformation. Where's the Uchiha? I want his blood. Gaara, you can't forget the plan. I don't care about the plan. I want to prove my existence. Shut up, or I'll kill you, Temari. Gaara said, the beast slowly fighting to take the boy over. Almost half his body was consumed by the one-tail's smaller form. At this moment Sasuke and Naruto decided to drop in. The Uchiha took half of Gaara's transformed arm off with his Chidori. Gaara's focus immediately shifted to the black-haired genin. However, as he moved to attack, he felt a speed-enhanced powerful kick place itself in the small of his back, launching him away. Gaara growled, "Sand shuriken!" He yelled as his sand turned into deadly weapons that flew at the two shinobi. Tamari had long since pulled back to the minimum safe distance. The boys began spamming their combination jutsu, trying to turn the sand into glass. And it did work, but when the Jinchuriki began ripping apart the ground in order to make more, they knew this would be troublesome. Eventually Naruto had a plan. "Ski, I'm gonna spam some water clones up. I'll prep a couple extra water jutsu too. Get your Chidori ready." Got it. 40 Naruto copies filled the area. 5 of them began flashing through hand seals. Water style. Raging waves. They all exclaimed, shooting water all over the partially transformed Sunanin, but dispelling the clones that had used the jutsu as it had drained their chakra. The remaining clones began to attack Gaara, engaging in taijutsu but getting dispatched as they attacked. Naruto's body flickered beside Sasuke, putting his hand on the Uchiha's shoulder. "I'll get you close." The boy nodded in response and they disappeared with the blonde's technique. Reappearing behind the Sunanin, Sasuke charged forth from behind him. Chidori! A burst of sand threw him off, but he still managed to bury his arm in the shoulder of the beast side of the enemy nin. "Shit!" he yelled when the sand began to encase his arm. However, the water that was now covering the redhead amplified the electric shock of the Chidori, causing him immense pain. Naruto quickly flickered next to him, and immediately disappeared with Sasuke in tow. "That was too close, Sasuke. I know, but it doesn't matter right now. Ninja art. Play possum jutsu." They heard the redhead call out, and watched in confusion as the boy slumped over, apparently asleep. But they both recoiled in shock as the full form of the One-Tails filled their view. Towering over them, the massive beast began to laugh. "I'm finally free." The massive beast chuckled once again. "Fuck, Sasuke. Go. Get out of here." "What the fuck do you mean? You can't possibly think you're gonna fight that thing alone, Naruto." Naruto turned to Sasuke, a solemn look adorning his face. He chuckled lightly. "You're a lot different than you used to be, Sasuke. It's a change for the good. But this is a fight for Jinchuriki, and that's what I am. I'll do this for the village. Naruto. I'm not gonna leave you here, you loser. Neko. Glad you're here, please clear the area." The newly arrived Anbu stared at the boy for a moment before she nodded and forcefully grabbed Sasuke and leapt away. She arrived at a location a distance away from the now free-tailed beast. Gathered there were a good amount of Chunin and Genin, along with a few Junin. The rest of the Konoha nin were still fighting in the village, but this group had been sent by Kakashi to back up the two boys. But upon release of the One-Tails, a squad of Anbu had arrived giving orders for no one to engage. "What the hell? We can't leave Naruto there to fight alone." Sakura, with Rika and Ryuko in tow, came running up to the Anbu. Shikamaru and Kiba found their way over quickly as well, having heard Sasuke yelling. "Naruto's is fighting that thing alone." Sakura shouted worry in her voice. "Right now, Naruto is the only one capable of fighting that beast. At least until Lord Jiraiya and Lord Third Hokage finish their fight." The Anbu responded blankly. "Know your place, Genin. Stay put. That is an order. How can you possibly say that when Naruto is a Gen?" Shikamaru started, only to be interrupted by the massive figure of Gamabunta appearing on the battlefield. When all the nin looked closely, some having fought in the battle 13 years before, they saw the massive toad along with a cloaked figure upon its head facing off against the beast. Is that the fourth?" a Chunin shouted. "You should know that isn't possible." Neko replied. "Just look at the cloak, you can tell. That's the same one Naruto was wearing." Shikamaru commented. "Sorry to summon you for such a fight, Lord Gamabunta. But I didn't have much of a choice. TCH. It's fine, brat. Last time I was summoned for a fight like this, it was your fourth Hokage atop my head." Naruto smiled at the Toad Boss's words. "I need to wake the Jinchuriki that is hidden inside the head of the One-Tails. Any ideas? We'll have to blast the sand loose to expose his body, then you should be able to get a solid enough hit in on him to wake him up." "Got it." Know any water jutsu? Naruto asked his massive ally. I'm a toad idiot, of course I know water jutsu. Right, sorry chief. Alright, light him up with what you got and I'll do what I can to add to it. Water style. Liquid bullets. The massive toad shot multiple bullets of water at the beast. On the ground the water became a rainstorm. Kakashi-sensei said if I were to pump enough chakra into this, it has potential to go from a C rank jutsu to an A rank. Naruto quickly shot through the hand seals. Water style. Raging waves. Naruto and Gamabunta's water jutsu combined, slamming into the tailed beast with so much force it ripped away some of the sand on its head, exposing Gaara's body. Alright brat, we're going to need to do a combination transformation jutsu. I need something with teeth and claws so I can grab him. Got it Chief Toad. One nine-tailed fox coming right up. Naruto and Gamabunta focused their chakra together, blending it and surrounding the toad's body. Transformation jutsu. Transformation jutsu. A plume of smoke enveloped the area, and out of it sprinted the nine-tailed fox. The two beasts tangled and clawed at each other for a few minutes before the transformed toad finally managed to pin the damn raccoon down. Go kid. Right. Naruto yelled as he flickered into existence next to Gaara atop the beast's head. Wake up fucker. He called, slamming his fist into the other boy's head. I just got here. I don't wanna go already. The beast yelled as Gaara's mind took over once again. Noticing the beast's body hadn't dissipated yet, Naruto grabbed the boy by the shirt and put two quick punches into his face. The body of the beast cracked and crumbled as it fell to the ground. You can go home now, Lord Gamabunta. I'll take it from here. Naruto called to his summon, as he jumped down to a treetop. Got it. Good luck kid. The massive summon disappeared in a cloud of chakra. Gaara landed in a tree across from Naruto, and leveled a glare at the blonde. When the Toad Boss's sword popped out of existence, Gaara and Naruto launched at each other. Naruto quickly took the advantage and he connected a right hook to the Suna nin's face, sending the boy to the ground. The blonde quickly flickered down behind him. He stood over the crumpled nin's body, the redhead's eyes stared at him in fear. How can you be so strong? Gaara began slowly crawling back as Naruto approached. Because, there's people I love in that village, hell I even love the village itself. The blonde continued to walk toward the fallen Jinchuriki. We didn't talk much during our fight. But we didn't have to. I could see it in your eyes, and I could feel it in how you fought. He now stood over the Suna Jinchuriki, a sad smile adorning his face. No. Stay away. Get away from me. I won't let you end my existence. The terrified redhead screamed. Naruto crouched down in front of the boy and placed his hand on the nin's shoulder. It's almost unbearable, isn't it? That loneliness and pain. The crushing weight of it all bearing down on you. It's so much it's suffocating. Looking at you Gaara, I see what I could have been, had I not found the ones who accept me as me. I know what it's like to be a Jinchuriki, I hold the 9 tails after all. But Gaara, your siblings, I can tell they love you. Cultivate that love and become strong with them. And if you need a friend, well we Jinchuriki need to stick together you know. The figures of Kankuro and Temari dropped from the trees behind them. Get away from Gaara you bastard. Gaara stared at Naruto wide-eyed at his words, and even more so at the concern showed on his siblings' faces. Temari? Kankuro? That's enough, this fight's over. Naruto smiled at the redhead, when suddenly his eyes shot wide. The old man's chakra. It's so small it's like he's… No way. Naruto was almost in a panic but he put on a brave face. You three get out of here, more Konoha nin are coming. You need to get a move on. As Kankuro picked up Gaara he looked at the blonde shinobi in awe. Not only had this guy beat Gaara, he had done it in a way that hadn't left him on the floor with nothing left. The damn kid looked like he could take on a couple more shinobi before dropping. Thanks I guess, we'll be off. With that the sand nin took off into the trees. Kankuro, Temari, I'm sorry. The redhead groaned out. Don't worry about it. The catsuit boy replied. Of the nin who appeared in the small clearing to meet Naruto, a few had expected to find a scene like they had when the third Hokage had found Minato after the Ninetales attack. They hadn't expected to find a tired but definitely not down and out Uzumaki Naruto standing there like he hadn't just single-handedly dealt with a tailed beast. I subdued the one tails. But the nin escaped. He said calmly. Naruto, are you okay? Shouted Ryuko and Sakura. I'm fine, but look I have to go. He disappeared heading back to the village. The group of shinobi watched in slight awe. They all began to look at each other in disbelief, before the Anbu in the group ordered them all back to the village to deal with any remaining threats. Naruto meanwhile arrived just in time to see Orochimaru flee the rooftop of the cage box. Quickly he rushed into where the barrier had previously protected. He quickly found the Hokage's chakra and slid to a stop at the dying man's body. Old man. The old Sarutobi chuckled, realizing just who had managed to make it to him first. Naruto. He coughed lightly, blood coming out. Old man, hang on. There will be medics here soon, you'll be alright. Naruto, I cannot be saved. I will die here, so you must listen. No, old man. You can't die, alright. You're the Hokage, for fuck's sake. You can't die. Naruto. Sarutobi said again, commanding as he felt Jiraiya land next to the two of them. Listen boy, you've come far as a shinobi. One day it will be your turn to be Hokage, of that I have no doubt. The will of fire is strong within you my boy, as it was with your mother. Be strong Naruto. You've made me, your mother, and Konoha proud. I hereby promote you to Chunin, for your feat of removing the threat of the one tail, Shukaku, from the village. Naruto cried over the old Hokage as the man coughed some more. Naruto, one day when you are Hokage, there's something I'd like you to remember. He coughed up some more blood, and looked at the end of his life. Anything old man, Naruto said, biting back tears. When the tree leaves dance, one shall find flames. The fire's shadow will illuminate the village, and once again, tree leaves shall bud anew. As Hokage, you must remember this, and never let go of your will of fire. With those last words, Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed once more, ruffled the hair of the boy who had brought light into his world for many years, and promptly died. The funeral only served to make Naruto more depressed, as he watched from atop the third Hokage's stone head. He cried silent tears, thinking of the many times the man, who had acted almost as Naruto's grandfather, had taken him for ramen. He looked to the sky as it began to rain, as if even the gods wept over the death of the god of shinobi. The fire's shadow will illuminate the village, ha. He felt Jiraiya land next to him, but he didn't bother to say anything. So I made sure to let the Junin commander, along with the council, know of your promotion to Chunin. Thanks. Naruto, in this world, a lot of people you know will die. One day I would like to find true peace. To have a world where everyone understands each other. But Konohagakure comes first. I too would like to see your dream come true, Jiraiya-sensei. However, Konoha must always be first in my mind. Because this is the village full of my friends, and the people I love. This is the village the old man, and my mother gave their lives to protect. I can never let that go to waste. I must ensure the safety of Konohagakure, no matter what. Well said my little apprentice. Now we've got a mission. A mission, Jiraiya-sensei? Yup. You see, Konohagakure needs a new Hokage. They asked me to, but I can't be Hokage. So we need to go find my old teammate Tsunade. Naruto leapt back from the Sannin landing a few feet away, anger consuming his facial features. What the fuck? The old man just died. How the fuck can you just replace him like that? Naruto growled out at the toad Sannin. The older man looked at the boy sadly. Naruto, Sarutobi-sensei meant a lot to me too, however Konohagakure is weak right now. We can't afford that, first off because we are going to go to war with Otogakure. Suna has already re-entered a treaty with us because they were tricked by Orochimaru. If we don't get a new Hokage soon, and show the other nations we aren't weak, it could spark the Fourth World War. Naruto reined in his emotions and settled himself. Yes sensei, I understand. I'm ready to leave whenever you are. You don't want to say goodbye to your friends first? Right now I just want to get out of this village sensei. That's fair. Go pack and meet me at the north gate in 2 hours. Yes sensei. With that both shinobi flickered off. The Hokage monument was silent once again. 2 days later, some of the Konoha Genin teams met up around a barbecue joint. Shikamaru, you're a Chunin now, so do you know what happened to Naruto? Asked Sakura. It's a drag to go off rumors and such, but I heard he showed up before the Hokage died. And that he was promoted to Chunin by Lord Third before he passed. The Nara sighed. If I guessed he's on a mission. Why would they give Naruto a separate mission without his team though? Ino inquired. Because, a stoic voice interrupted. In the same way I trained under Kakashi for the finals, Naruto trained under Jiraiya of the Sannin. If I guessed, I'd say Jiraiya had something important to do, and decided to take Naruto along. Sasuke, you don't really think Naruto is on a mission with a Sannin, do you? Kiba popped in this time. Yes, I really do think so. I'm off on a mission with Kakashi and Sakura to do border patrol. We're all about to get very busy. Are we really going to war with Otto? Asked one of the twins Naruto had met in the forest. Team 12, consisting of Takarada Ryuko, Kasahara Roku, and Kasahara Aiko, had run into the rest of the genin as they were heading through the village. Sakura had promptly invited them along for a meal, which they had graciously accepted. Yeah, the war with Otto is on. The only thing is it's going to be easy for Konoha and Suna at first. We'll be able to crush most of Otogakure, but the problem will be it's almost a guarantee that Orochimaru will resort to hit-and-run guerrilla tactics. Shikamaru drawled out. Sakura, come on, it's time for our mission with Kakashi. Hey Jiraiya-sensei? What's up, brat? Can you teach me something on the way? Jiraiya laughed loudly. Looking over, he smiled at the boy. I've been planning to teach you a jutsu. Actually, I've been planning to teach you 2 of them. One needed permission of the Hokage, but I never got the chance to ask. But I'm going to teach you anyway. You're going to teach me too? Well, depending if you get the first one down fast enough. Alright, what is it? Pay attention, brat. This is the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Jiraiya made the hand seal and a clone popped into existence next to him. It's a jutsu that splits the user's chakra to make the clone. The difference between this and the standard clone is this clone is solid, and is also able to perform jutsu. I want you to try now, Naruto. Alright, here I go. Naruto said calmly, forming the clone seal. He focused his chakra and closed his eyes. Hearing a pop, he opened them and looked to his right. Staring back at him was a perfect copy of himself. Whoa. Naruto, most Junin can only make 1 or 2. But with your chakra levels, we have a huge opportunity. I'm going to teach you a forbidden jutsu that would kill anyone but you. Are you sure I should learn it, sensei? The boy asked nervously. I'm sure. Now do the same seal. But push as much of your chakra out as you can. They call it the multi-shadow clone jutsu. Got it. The boy said, determination filling his eyes. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. A loud popping sound filled the air, and surrounding Jiraiya and the boy were copies in the hundreds. Whoa. This is impressive. It's perfect. Naruto, I'm gonna make you strong. Now in groups dispel the clones until you have like 10 left. The older man ordered. Alright. Naruto smiled at his sensei. They were now left with 10 copies of himself. My clone is going to take one of yours off into the trees for a minute, alright? Okay, Naruto said questioningly. The 2 clones scampered off, only for Naruto to look at his sensei in slight awe. And then his expression changed to disappointment. Alright, awesome, I get the memories, but really? You're a super pervert? That was the best thing you could say? At this, the Sannin just chuckled loudly. Naruto, with this technique, we can get you to learn and master jutsu in days, rather than years. Jiraiya smiled down at the boy. However, before that I plan to teach you a jutsu, but you can only use 1 clone during training. And anytime you train anything else with large amounts of clones, I need to be there, and you need to be careful and dispel the clones in small groups so that the mass amount of memories flooding your brain doesn't scramble it. Understood? Yes, I understand, sensei. Naruto replied. So what's the next one? This one I can guarantee will take you longer. After all, it took the 4th Hokage 3 years to develop, and it took me 3 months to learn. The 4th Hokage made it. That he did. Jiraiya held his arm out and began to form a ball of chakra in his hand. This is the Rasengan. He laughed at the absolute awe prevalent on the boy's face. It's the absolute pinnacle of shape manipulation. Jiraiya-sensei. How do I learn this? At this, he was hit in the face with a water balloon. Catch. The Sannin called, tossing another at the boy, who caught it effortlessly. Now watch. The balloon began to shake and become bumpy, before it popped. The first step is rotation. Now get to work. Yes sir. It was early evening as Naruto and Jiraiya arrived in the small village. The boy was extremely tired from the constant training he did along the way. Jiraiya checked the 2 of them into a hotel. After they had settled, he turned to the boy. I'm going to the bar. I'm gonna see if I can dig anything up on Tsunade, alright? You stay here in the room. Train if you'd like, or sleep, you look tired. I'll be back, brat. Alright, see ya in a bit, Jiraiya-sensei. With that, Jiraiya left the building. Naruto shut and locked the door behind him. He spawned 10 shadow clones and they sat about the room reading through books and scrolls on fuinjutsu. He had inquired to his sensei about the art of sealing, and it had almost excited the sage that the boy had interest in it. Naruto himself sat cross-legged, working on the rotation step of the Rasengan. Naruto was jolted from his concentration when he heard a knock at the door. He stood and walked over, he didn't even think twice about opening it. "You're going to come with us, Uzumaki Naruto." Chapter 11. End. And that is it for this couple of chapters. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways, thank you all so much for even bothering to watch this video. I truly am thankful and appreciative for you all viewing my work. Once again, thank you so much for watching. See you all later and bye.